right now.
Your role in the whole Bobby Lee saga
with that whole drama with all the other comedians.
Yeah.
I love Bobby. I
do too.
I'm like protective of him because I love him, and I don't like those guys being dicks to him. But I don't know what your relation. I know you're. Right.
There are certain people who I took a stand on for Bobby.
You did?
Yeah.
Good.
Took a stand for Bobby, and that's how it is.
The thing is, like, if you're gonna be a dick to Bobby, at least be funny.
Right.
You know, if you're a shitty comedian and being a dick to Bobby, then you really just have nothing going on. Here's the large right.
December off, except for Arlington, Dallas in the middle of December. And that's a 2.5 hour drive. So that's like really, really easy. No airports.
You mean the Arlington where Gringo Papi was filmed?
Wait, is that where that was filmed?
Is it? The Dallas Improv, Arlington?
I think so, yeah.
That's where Gringo Papi was filmed.
Oh, no.
Dude, tough act to follow.
Pressure's on.
Oh, man. How do you know that? How do you know that was filmed there?
I was fascinated by the entire I even know where the construction paper came from.
Oh, my God.
I even know who cut it out.
Oh, my God. That's so funny. Yeah, we all are. We're all very fascinated about it.
It was fascinating.
Yeah.
I mean, just like, I'm particularly close to that because of the known for other things coming into stand-up, like first special on Showtime, you know, and then like putting out the second special on your own.
35 minutes.
25.
Was it really?
It was 25.
Oh. My goodness.
Yeah.
Oh, it's interesting. It's like death by 1,000 self-inflicted paper cuts or something like that.
It's pretty intense. But yeah, like so I was particularly, you know, 'cause it's like and I don't know. I care a lot, you know.
Yeah.
You still feel that way though, because people are always saying like.
Yeah,
you know,
I mean, hey,
Tom Tony gave you kudos. It's like, dude, you really worked your ass off.
I've found my stride in what I do, and I'm perfectly comfortable about it. I don't think, and I'm not like claiming to be so great, you know. I think that's the other problem there. Is that when you're like,
that's the thing.
Yeah.
Yes.
When you're like, oh yeah, dude,
It's a study. This is yeah. I mean.
I love hearing comedians talk about this because it sounds like they have a lot to say about it, but they don't want to say the wrong thing, so they're kind of careful about it, even though they both clearly find the whole thing hilarious, and they both follow it pretty closely. Like, Steve-O knew exactly how long Gringo Papi was, and he knew where it was filmed. It's crazy that he knows that. I don't think Brendan knows that at this point. So it sounds like Steve-O's really into it all, which makes sense because most comedians are. But also, like he was saying, he had a similar experience to Brendan, like having a career in something else, then jumping into comedy and already having a fan base. A lot of other comedians hate that kind of thing because they feel like they're putting in so much work, and then somebody just comes along and already has a huge audience and is able to do a special, which obviously with Brendan Schaub, we saw that didn't really work out the best. But when he first started, I think...
Well, when I get off the stage, and I'm thrilled because people laughed. You know, and I sit in the crowd. The host brings up the next comic. The next comic is Al Madrigal. He walks out and he goes, "Oh my God, what did we just see? We just saw Steve-O working on new material. And he's just like, I just can't take it anymore. Like, I just can't believe that, you know, that this thing that I consider my calling in life, stand-up comedy, that I care about it so much, and now we have Steve-O, and Dustin Diamond out here doing this thing. He's like, I can't believe that these people are taking something that's so sacred to me and just using it as their last resort. And I'm sitting right there watching them say this shit. I'm like,
I guess comedians just take their shit really seriously, probably too seriously. Like Joe Rogan, he does it as well, but not in this kind of way. Like, he's almost too supportive of people. But then also at the same time, he's always like, oh, there's only 1,000 of us. Like, you know how hard it is to be a comedian. You have to have a different mind. You have to put in so much work. It's like a science. But at least he doesn't get all offended like when Steve-O gets into comedy. And he was actually very supportive of him. And also Brendan Schaub, maybe a little too supportive of Brendan Schaub. But at least he's not some guy who's like, oh man, you guys aren't real comedians. This isn't fair. I put all this work into it and you just jump into it and have an audience. You got to work for it. I think that's all a little ridiculous because in the end it all evens out. Like, obviously it hasn't gone the best for Brendan Schaub. He's had specials. He's made some money off of it, but I don't think he's in the best position as a comedian. And with Steve-O, people go to see him, but I don't think anybody's talking about how he's the best comedian or anything like that. And I think most people just know him from YouTube and podcasting and Jackass. His comedy career is never going to be bigger than those. And I think he's humble for the most part. You know, I'll take his word for it. Like at the end of that clip that I played with him and Tony talking about Brendan, it sounded like that's what he thinks one of the different